Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganadhipate Namo Namaha Om Vijay Ganapate Namaha Om Uchishta Ganapate Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Sarvamangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namosute Om Bhagavate Shri Swami Narayanaya Namaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya and Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Guru Stotram अखंडमंगलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः श्रीसद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. Welcome to Daily Satsang. We are continuing our examination of the word Atma, of what is the Atma, what is the Self, the word Brahman. These go together. And in this entire series that has been going on for the last several months, just on the question about the Atma, we have been looking at Vivek Chudamani, which is one of the par excellence scriptures that is available to us. And along those lines, we are examining verse number 21. If you remember, I don't know if we have memorized that or not, but in verse number 19, the four main sadhanas that are shown there, this should be really embedded clearly inside our mind. Nitya, Anitya, Vastu Vivekaha, sadhana number 1. Sadhana number 2 is Amruta Phala Bhoga Viragaha, sadhana number 2. Sadhana number 3 is Shamadhi Shataka Sampattihi, that is sadhana number 3. And the fourth one is Mumukshutvam, sadhana number 4. This is called Sadhan Chatushtaya. So when we have all four of these intact, then that is taking us into the state of being able to contemplate on the Brahman and being able to touch the Brahman, so that vastness opens up because the mind is completely open. That's the general idea. Now we went to verse 21 last couple of days. Now I want to go further into the verse number 20. Verse number 21. We went to verse 20. We spent quite a bit of time on that, about a week or so. And that is that famous line, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. So in verse number 21 now, Adi Shankaracharya ji gives us a further elaboration. He begins now the more in-depth elaboration on how to develop oneself, so to be prepared for that Brahmic realization to occur, for that vastness and truth and infinity in God, that Akshara Brahma and Parabrahma, even beyond that, to actually come and dawn within us based on Vachanamrut concepts and Vishishtadvaita. So here, we want to examine this very carefully. I started talking about this a bit yesterday. So he's using the word Vairagyam. So the verse is like this. I'll break it up into the words actually. Tat Vairagyam Jihasa. So Tat is that. That is. So what is it? What is that Vairagya? So that Vairagyam, it's not just detachment. This is not the right translation. People say Vairagya is detachment. I mentioned it quite a bit in detail, somewhat detail yesterday. It is a state of complete inner freedom. It is a state to move and interact with the objects of the senses without getting stuck with them, enraptured by them, bound by them, or having any kind of karmic effect internally. It is not an escape from the world. Not at all. In Vachanamrut also, Garada number 2 Vachanamrut, which we will look at maybe 2 days from now, that is described what is the highest level of Vairagya. So Vairagya is not just detachment. It is not actually detachment. It is not attachment also. It is not attachment or detachment. It is interaction without karmic reaction. There's no disturbance of inner power in Vairagya. See, the word rag is in there. See, Vairagyam. The raga is this intense pulling towards the world, people, etc. Bound, essentially getting bound. Vairag, the word vai means is turning away from that. It's where your focus, concentration that has been going in that direction naturally settles inside. That's the whole idea, that Atmaneva Atmanah Tushta. There's a great satisfaction within. Anyway, that is Vairagya. Then, continuing what he says here, what he's saying here is that this Vairagya is the foundation for what? Jihasa. Jihasa ya darshan shravanadi bihi. It doesn't mean that you're not seeing, hearing, and etc. You're doing everything. All senses are active. But see the state. The desire to just pursuing, the desire to just experience more and more of that world of Prakriti begins to dissipate. My throat is a little scratchy here today. Today, just I think maybe because of the temperature or something, but I'm feeling fine. It's very interesting. He's not saying you're not interacting with the Vishayas. You have to interact with the objects. But look at what he's saying here. Jihasa. This is a very powerful word. Jihasa is referring to this internal, intense, this wanting more and more, wanting something badly. That is called jihasa. Now, it's very important to keep this in mind. Let's keep that in mind. Look at the world today. Top to bottom, in the whole human civilization, people are running. They're motivated because of jihasa, wanting, and the desire to give up is not there. I said it the opposite way. Jihasa is where the desire to give up, that longing is not there. So then people misinterpret this thing. Does that mean we just don't do anything in the world? No. We have to interact in the world, but the interaction in fact, it must be through Vairagyam. Interaction with Vairagya is liberated living. All interaction with tremendous Vairagya is liberated living. The ups and downs of life are going to happen. The sukh and dukh is going to be there. Some things we're going to find attractive, some things we're not going to find attractive. At the sensory level, that is going to be there. Even though it is there, it doesn't mean one is necessarily stuck inside there. So the desire to go beyond the vortex of the Pancha Vishayas, which are darshan shravanadibhihi, shravan, hearing, seeing, touch, the five senses. That's what that means. This word here, darshan shravanadibhihi. And then he says, now he makes an incredible statement here. The next two words are talking about Vairagya all the way up to the level of Brahma. See, Dehadhi Brahma Paryante. My God. This is really something, folks. See the power of Shankaracharyaji's language. He's defining Vairagya, that all the way up to the Brahma Loka, there's Vairagya. We go to one nice waterfall somewhere, we say, wow, we get attached to that. Now we want to go again and again everywhere. We have this Bushkill Fall and all this thing over in Pennsylvania. We have Niagara Falls. We have natural places, right? And we can get attached to natural places also. So, they're great. It's beautiful to go. There's nothing wrong with any of it, right? But Vairagya is it in every way. Because there are Vishayas in this world, there are categories, aren't there? Vachanamrut Garada number 2 will say, Uttam Kotina Vishay. $100,000 car. $5 million home. Highest level stuff. Even the smallest, I went to the mall yesterday just to check something. Now they have this iPhone 13. This is an older iPhone that I have. They have some additional features, something further, something developed that cost $1,200 or something like that. Something more is always there. And there is a range of experience. So we need to understand that range of experience. Before we can truly get into Vairagya, and by the grace of all the gurus, we must see the range of experience. What is that range of experience? It is from Kanishta Vishayas to Uttam Koti Vishaya. Meaning Kanishta means what? Those that are ordinary. if you go, for example, we have this restaurant here, it's called Salad Works. You may have seen. Go to any salad restaurant. You will see they have a very minimal, like a garden salad, select 7 items, $7.99 or $5.99 or $6.99. Some low dollar amount is there. Okay, some basic. If you add another topping, they'll charge you $2, another $1. And if you get the exotic salads, it'll be $15. So there's more. There's a range in everything. Every Vishaya, anything you can think of, there's a range. From ordinary up to the highest levels of stimulation. This is true with all the foods we eat. This is true with actually even the decor in the house. You know, some people have so much decoration and all kinds of things are there, paintings, expensive paintings. Some people are very, because they may not have interest or they may not have the income. Very simple, just walls are there, maybe something small, like Ganesh Ji ka picture or something like that. That's it. You look at the poverty, the poor people that are living. I actually watched a whole documentary just yesterday on that whole Dharavi, you know, that poor slum in the largest slum of Asia. My God, what a disaster that is. What conditions the children are being brought up in, and they're trying to improve all that, but it's an intractable problem. But again, why even those problems exist? Why is all that there? Because the lack of realization in the masses of this concept that the jihasa, darshana, shravanadi bihi, it is a constant internal desire. If you wonder, you know, the person cannot support themselves, why they're bringing children into the world when you cannot support yourself even? How terrible that's what we see in the poor populations throughout the world. They cannot support themselves and they have so many kids. We're not blaming anybody, but we have to see, and what is the reason? Usme gyan nahi hai, koi vairagya nahi hai, koi samajh nahi hai, just instinctual desire, that's it. And then even people who are learned, educated, etc., they're also doing the same thing and getting trapped and wound up. Shankaracharya ji is obliterating the problem from the root by making the statement, Dehadi Brahma Paryante. From the mortal body, from this body has range of experience. We have so much experience of all different kinds from all 5 senses. Now take one by one. Take eyes, rupa. Some things we really enjoy seeing, some things we cannot stand seeing. Isn't it so? We can take a drive our car, go into very dilapidated, poor, terrible neighborhoods. We can go into the neighborhoods of multimillionaires. What is all of that? That is the range of experience. Okay. All right. So there's a range of experience. Now what Shankaracharya is saying, yes, there is the range of experience. But when Vairagya is there is no pulling in that experience. How can that be? If you see a poor hut, some small families living there, and then you see on the other extreme, family of 4 living in a $20 million big mansion. One who has vairagyam, the way he's talking about here, internally he sees the Brahma Tattva only, active everywhere. He sees the range, but is not pulled, attracted or repulsed. Now, somebody might say, how can you live like that? What kind of life is that? What is that? Why is that? That is a qualification. If we want to realize the substratum, the Brahman, we have to come to that stage where we can be so stable internally among all of these opposite pairs. And in the pairs of opposites, the stability among the pairs of opposites promotes growth of Brahma Vidya internally, so we can pierce through, perceive beyond the superficial world, perceive beyond the poor and the rich and see the Atma. Perceive beyond the young and the old and see the Atma. Perceive beyond the attractive and the repulsive and see the Atma and the Paramatma. So he's saying that Vairagya is such where the internal desire for Pancha Vishayas, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. This is called Pancha Vishaya. It's good to learn some terminology. It's very easy to understand. That desire is seen as transient. See, he says, Dehadi Brahma Paryante He Anitya. Again, this word Anitya comes. Again and again. It is a continuous realization that things are transient, things are changing, things are constantly changing. Family members are coming and going, people are coming and going. Everything, the highest level of experience comes and goes. And when that realization is there that everything is anitya, anitya, bhoga vastuni, the objects of the senses, the bhoga. One recognizes that the bhoga itself is temporary, although it is there. And it is anitya. It is not, the object itself is going to go away. It will change into something else. This is an internal meditative realization. Sachin just talking about it doesn't mean Sachin has understood this thing or even has realized this. Maybe not. We don't know. Only when time comes, only when situations come about, do we know if we are in that state or not. They're very powerful, because this type of vairagya is allowing us to keep our senses and our mind in synchronicity. They are not pulled again and again, because the pulling that occurs towards the objects of the senses. For example, Sachin sees somebody's home that is a $20 million home, and then they say, "Oh my God, what an amazing mansion!" And this, you go crazy. It's like, "My God, this is unbelievable. This is great. This is this." Okay. Someone who has vairagya will go there with respect, love, affection, good feeling, everything. Will not be touched, will not be pulled by the vaibhav. And someone who same person goes into the poor areas, into very, very tough neighborhoods or whatever it might be, is also just living, same vision is there. Compassion, harmony, grace, because the vision is beyond the flux of Prakriti. And when a person lives that way, when an individual awakens to this vairagya, in the real sense, there is that state brings awareness of the Atma, that I am the king of the inside this body, inside the mind, and my mental reactions are not binding me at all. Yes, although there is the detection of the difference, of course. Bhagavad Gita says on one hand you have diamonds or you have the gold, on the other hand you have dust. Samaloshtasma kanchana. The vision of an enlightened being is they're both parts of the earth. The antakarana, the mind, is not drawn into the vortex. Very difficult. And when that vision opens up, that doesn't mean you treat a diamond or a golden ring as dust. That's not what that means. Relatively in the world, you have to live according to the way the relative world is there and then evolve beyond that. It is a vision. Vairagya is a vision. And in that vision, in that energetic stability, because it's all about energy, remember, Vairagya is where all your internal power is held as a massive bank account. For example, if you have $20,000 at home, cash, let's say, as an example, whatever amount it is, and you're putting it in a safe and saving it, why? Why we're doing that? Some people have, they have some good amount of cash. They like to save in the home, but they put a bank and all that too. But they like to have backup. Particularly like in India and everything, you have more cash transaction. Here, maybe not that much, but some people still like to have. But just assume for a moment you have some good amount of cash. Why you will lock it? Why you will put it away? Why you will treat it with respect? Why? Because that is the power. There's a buying power. That is a strength. That is a security. Because from that you can get what you need to survive in the world. Isn't it so? And I mentioned this yesterday. Similarly, what Vairagya does, it takes our internal power that is in the body and the mind, and it conserves it. Vairagya conserves our internal power, and from that conservation, we utilize pieces of it as needed in the material world, and we use additional pieces of it to protect bhakti. So if you have, how can I say this? Bhakti is so precious. Bhakti is pure anubhav of God. Bhakti is God. It's not two different things. Bhakti is a divinity in the emotional form. But it's not just emotion like how we experience emotion. See, our experience of emotion at the most goes to ecstasy, comes back down. You might have ecstatic feelings. Okay. But there is a bhakti that Bhagwan Swaminarayan talked about. That is bhakti that is with the foundation of Brahma Vidya. See, Nijatmanam Brahma Rupam, that I am the Brahman, that what Shankaracharya ji is saying. And in that state, you're performing bhakti. Now, that seems like, how in the world are you supposed to do that? How can you perform bhakti if you are the Brahman? But you can, because there is the understanding that Bhagwan, God, is beyond the Brahman, that is Paramatma, Parabrahma. So that bhakti that is called Brahma Swarupini Bhakti. See, we have the Navda Bhakti, that is Sadhana Bhakti. That Sadhana Bhakti will bring us to the Atma. But when you are at the realization of the Atma, through this kind of Vairagya and many other qualities that are coming up, in that state of being in that state of liberation, one is worshipping the Lord, worshipping God. Wow! How amazing that must be. We don't see. Sachin can talk about it. I have thought about it, read scriptures about it, heard many sages talk about it, have even seen sages that are like that. But for me to be that's a different ball game. That's a totally different matter altogether. That is not, that is an unknown territory. We're not even able to have pure Vairagya. Where's the issue of Brahma Swarupini Bhakti? The bhakti we do is a sadhana bhakti to get to the Brahma Swarup state, Brahma Rup state. But there is, if you keep in mind, see, Bhagavad Gita says this. Bhagavad Gita says, Brahma bhutaha prasannatma na shochati na kankshiti samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. Ye siddhant hai. Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna Bhagwan. Brahma bhutaha prasannatma na shochati na kankshiti. That is the state. Brahma bhuta means that sees Brahman everywhere. Sees God everywhere. Sees that great emotion, great divinity everywhere. Prasannatma. Prasannatma means what? So awakened and so happy from inside. Prasannata. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshiti. It is not panging towards, is not getting torn by the prakriti, by wants and desires. Samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. Sees everyone with an equal vision. And then such a person can do bhakti. So this is the kind of life that can actually develop. This is a development. This is not एक दिन का खेल नहीं है ये. बहुत काल करत सत्संगा तब बहुत संशय का बंगा. I think it was Kabir Das ji, somebody who said this. Satsang koi, it is not a small thing. It is the ultimate thing in life. There's nothing beyond satsanga. In that sense, there's nothing beyond this realization of the Atman Paramatma. What can be greater than that? Yes, we can have great accomplishments in the material world, but they are limited. Once you accomplish even the highest thing, then what? Take, for example, the presidency of the United States. At the most, that person gets 8 years. But then that position goes away. Then what? Then they roam around, travel around. Even many presidents even feel a sense of emptiness, like, what did I do? What am I doing? That sense that something is missing all the time. Even at the highest levels of accomplishment. That problem is solved by Vairagyam. And in that Vairagya, there is the continuous Brahmachintan. Bhagwan ka jo chintan hai, manan hai, ये सब चलता है. It goes on and on because there is enjoyment of the Brahma Vidya. It's called Brahmanandam. Remember we were looking at that verse last year? Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim. That such a being is the manifestation of jnana. It's like if you have Einstein. We all know about Einstein. So we can say that the physics manifested through him. It's a manifestation of... Now, he's not the full manifestation of physics, obviously, but some manifestation is there. Physics is manifesting through. It's like that. When we use the word Jnanamurti or Jnanamurti, such a murti means form. That a being, a Sadguru, is manifesting jnana. That is Jnan ki murti. Seva ki murti. Murtiman seva. Murtiman Jnan. That whatever Jnan is present in this being completely. Samyak Jnan, Samyak Drishti. As it is. Samyak means as it is. And when that is present within us, we may feel we have some gurus that are present in them. Bring the gurus inside. This is me. So bring it inside again and again. Don't keep it outside. Bring it inside. Day in and day out, bring it inside. This is who I am. Resonate again and again. I am the Brahman. I am the Atma. I have Vairagya. I have all these qualities. Start with this. Not end with it. Start with it. And it will evolve and it will grow. So it is possible. Now, here's a practical exercise. I'm going to try to show one practical sadhana every day. So I'm going to start doing that today, actually, because I kind of have not done that really. What is a practical exercise in something like this? Well, whenever we are, let's just say we're watching TV. We all watch some TV or something on the internet or whatever. Can we see it without it creating an impact on the mind? Let's say we watch the news, nightly news or some samachar or something, whatever it is. It could be a movie or whatever you're watching. I don't know, whatever. Is that possible? It is possible if you have Vairagya. So try this exercise. Try to watch something for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Do a small thing. Don't do too big because it's not easy to do right away. You watch it and then as you're watching, hit pause and see the reaction that's occurring. Take steady breaths, in and out, in and out. Stabilize the reaction. Bring in the Vairagya. See it from a broader point of view. Don't get lost in that. And then to recognize, do I want to see? Because part of the difficulty is whatever you see is going to be recorded. So then one has to ask, what should I put inside my mind? What do I not want to put? Sometimes you see something you don't want inside there. So it's still there. Now you have to see it in the new light. And that is the whole point. That sometimes we wind up seeing things that really, that disturbs us. So then if that's the case, to look at it again, to do our sadhana, to do our meditations, and that internal disturbance of the object, we go beyond it. That is why mantra sadhana is necessary. There's a lot involved in this. If we say Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah, this mantra. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamandaya Viche, Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamandaya Viche. These two mantras will clean up the antakarana. That's what they're for. They are going to clean up all the trash that we are constantly putting inside our antakarana, inside our mind. And then from that, the wisdom comes, what should I put inside, what shouldn't I put? That is viveka. And then from there, to see it in a new light as a lila of prakriti, that's a higher vision. And even beyond that is the Brahman only is the highest vision. Amazing things are there. Alaukik baate sab. This is a tremendous. So that's the exercise. You'll see the reactions of the mind and our memories when we are watching even a 5-minute video on something on the internet, YouTube or whatever. See what's happening inside. And then ask yourself, where is that coming from? Is that what I want? Then what is the application of Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka? These are the practical exercises to do day to day. People say that we want to realize the Brahman and we want to realize God, so we should just keep away from the world. No, it's not keeping away from the world, but it's also not getting lost in the world. It's to recognize how much the world is impacting, and can we bring the scriptures inside to do that separation, that Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka. And if we can do the separation, we can see clearly where the world stands with its flux, the human community and everything. We see it, we don't have any kind of bondage towards it, but at the same time, we are also having that experience to grow further. The experience of Prakriti is that so that we can be liberated from it. That is why the experiences of Prakriti exist. We said it before so many times. Why is any kind of experience there? So we can transcend its limitations. That is why the experience is there. If there was no experience, how we will go outside of Maya? We cannot. Maya has to express itself. But as Maya is expressing itself, we don't want to be caught up in the expression. That is Jnana. That is what Vairagya. That is exactly what Shankaracharya ji is saying, that you're not getting caught up in the expression of Prakriti all the way around. And even though you're in it, you're touching it, you're seeing it, you're all that is there. With some certain restrictions, it's there. But it is there so that you can, so that we can evolve, because the reactions we experience in Prakriti, they are needed so we can evolve after them into the Brahman. If no reactions were there, if there was no anger, if there was no krodh, kam, krodh, if these things were not there, then how we will evolve out of Maya? They are, see, Gunatidanand Swami said, Satsang ni garaj rahe. It means that because these doshas are there, that they're there so that we can evolve into Satsanga, into that Sat, Nitya Tattva. But that is Paramatma. Okay, so we'll stop here for today and we'll continue on this tomorrow.